Hi, I'm Charlie and this is D&D and Don't Know, where I try and answer the questions that I have when I'm starting out playing D&D and that you might have as well. We're trying to keep them nice and short in bite-sized chunks, but do let us know in the comments if you have any questions that I should be adding into our list as well. So, today's question, what do I need to buy to play D&D? Well, there's a couple of answers to this, but first answer, absolutely nothing at all. This is a game that's led by your own storytelling, so all you need to have is sort of a basic grasp of the rules to be able to sort of lead forward, get your group together, get playing those games. Now, if you're not too sure, there's plenty of resources, of course. Now, some of those might be watching YouTube videos on how to do things, but also if you go on the D&D website, you'll find resources for character sheets, for basic rules, for ways to play, for suggestions. All of those things are included absolutely for free. So basically all you're going to need at best is maybe a printout and maybe a pencil, but even then you can probably do most of it online, which leads me on to stuff that helps you online. So instead of rolling a dice, you don't need to buy them, you can roll them online. You might use Roll20, which is a virtual tabletop. There are multiple versions of this. I'll only mention that one because that's the one that I use, which you can play within. So everybody joins, everybody marks what's happening. You can also use things like D&D Beyond. Again, completely free to use. It will help you create your character. It'll take out some of the maths as well, because that's the bit that always stumps me. That can guide you through to create your character, to play your game, and it links into Roll20 when you roll your dice. So all you have to do, click on your character sheet, and it appears. That's a Chrome extension. You can add that in. Alternatively, you desperately want to buy something, you like the feel of a physical book in your hand. I'm exactly the same. The basics of what you can purchase are, when you go back to the very, very beginning, you have basically two choices. You can buy the starter kit or you can buy the essentials kit. Now, that starter set is going to include everything you need to open it up and play. It's got a sort of little adventure for you from the Lost Mines, and it gives you dice, it gives you rules, it gives you sort of a brief adventure for you to play, and those character sheets are pre-made. So take it out, hand out your character sheets, start rolling and see what happens. It's a very, very quick and relatively cheap way to get started before you start buying the bigger books or the bigger investments. Now, the alternative to that is the essentials kit, which is maybe a little bit more, maybe not adventurous, that's too high a word, but for example, your character sheets aren't filled out in that one, but you do get a DM screen, which, to be honest, looks great. You also get things like maps and a different adventure. It might be that you end up buying both, or you buy one and your DM buys another, however it works out, but you can easily set up with just one of those and start playing your D&D game. Adding to that then, maybe you're in for the long haul. You're looking at the starter set and thinking, no, I want to jump right in with everything I can get. Well, to start out, you're going to need your player's handbook. This explains everything that you need to know about sort of your setting out, how you create your character, how you take it through, the histories, the different types of character you can create, and more. This is your Bible for being a player. Then, obviously not everybody is a player, because at least one person is a dungeon master. In that case, you're going to need the Dungeon Master's Guide. So between you and a group, maybe the Dungeon Master gets this one, the others get a player handbook and share it around, or even your own one if you wanted. And then, just to add to the tip of the iceberg, one of my favourites to recommend is the Monster Manual. Now, primarily the DM is going to benefit from this from the most, so sort of flicking through and seeing what crazy creatures you can add into your story. But I quite like it as a player, just to be able to flick through and see whether the creature that we fought last week matched up in my mind to the DM's description. And quite often, they look way better in here. And then, lastly, we'll go with some honourable mentions. So ultimately, dice. Now, dice are a little bit addictive, I will warn you. Once you start buying them, if you're anything like me, you'll then have a collection of hundreds of dice, and at the moment we can't even roll them because it's too sort of pandemic-y to be able to meet up with anybody. Gutted. However, they are beautiful, they come in various forms, and you'll just need a basic set to start with, but then you can get nicely coloured ones, or nicely decorated ones, or ones with cool things included. Dice. Maybe a good option for you to purchase for your D&D game, and a good excuse too as well. The other one that I'll mention is the Young Adventurer's Guides, which is sort of, it's geared towards the younger audience. So everything that's complex or jargon filled about Dungeons and Dragons is taken out of it, and it's just sort of basic explanations of certain aspects of it. And the other great thing about those specifically is that they'll give you little prompts about how to proceed in certain situations or give you ideas for how you're going to go next, which is quite helpful when you're new and a bit nervous and not too sure what it is that you can ask your character to do. A nice addition if you're just splashing the cash. So to conclude, you don't need to buy anything to play Dungeons and Dragons. All of the resources are online for you. However, if you like the physical stuff, you can always pick some stuff up. But be warned, that's how I ended up with a nice squishy D20, which I'm not sure has any use, but is cool, and all of the extras that you've seen so far today. It's a slippery slope, but a really fun one to go on. Now, I've been Charlie with Tabletop Gaming Magazine, and if you like this, please give it a like and subscribe, and let us know in the comments if you have any questions that you'd like us to take a look at as well. Thanks for watching.